All right, so there we
Right.
go. It's a beautiful evening, everybody. Good evening, Wupe. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you today, Shadrach?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I was saying earlier that I like that tree behind. I think you should just find one for me. Okay?
I should though. I bought it. Where did we buy this one? I should though. Yeah, it,
Yeah,
it,
it looks
it
very
brings,
nice.
you see how I have white walls? I like the green.
Yeah.
It brings the pop of color, and I just love color. So, yeah, how was your week? Last week you said you were level. How are you this week?
Yeah, this week I'm cool. I'm cool.
Mhm.
The usual stuff happening around, here and there. But hey, who cares? I'm all right.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
just preparing
Uh,
for tomorrow's deliveries for Midi Meal. We are
mm,
running a program where we're giving out Midi Meal
nice.
to those who really need the help. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be delivering tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
I
if you know
should
somebody
follow up
who's
on
in
that
need of
now.
mini meal, let me know. I'll be happy to give them a bag of mini meal.
Yeah, I have a widow actually. I have two widows if there's room for two. We support under the I've told you about the Givers Project Zambia, which is how the Mindpreneur started. Before it was that, it used to be the Givers Project Zambia, and we love to support widows. But when I took this direction in the search for purpose, what am I supposed to be doing? I was feeling guilty about when we give to people and we have to take pictures and share them. Something just didn't sit very well in my heart with that. And I don't condemn anyone who does that. I think it's
Yeah.
really at a personal conscience level. And it
Yeah.
didn't sit well for me. That's how we stopped. But my husband and I, we continued that, and we have what we call the Love Anonymous basket. We've identified widows, and we support them as often as we
Oh yeah.
can. Yeah, so that's nice. So we should do a little
That's
sound
fantastic.
check before we continue, right? To hear that everyone who's joined us
Yes,
can hear
yes.
us.
So people, good evening everybody. Good evening, Tahizia. It's always good to have you on the program.
So
Thank you so
good.
much.
Yeah,
Franklin.
I love ties. Yeah.
Franklin, it's good to have you here. Good
And
evening. Oh,
Franklin,
he says sending some love. Franklin, I can always
we
count on
receive it.
Franklin.
Love
Franklin's
right
always there.
back.
Franklin
Yeah.
sending us the love. That's great, Franklin. It's
Yeah.
good to see you.
Yeah. Good
So
to see you. Can
tell
you
us about
please
the sound,
comment and let
guys.
us know? Yeah, about the sound. How is it? How is the sound? Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yeah, it's a beautiful evening, Franklin. How is our sound? Somebody tell us if the sound is okay as we delve into this great. All right,
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
Mary
Let's
is
get
here
right
with us.
into it. Yep. They'll let
Indeed.
us know.
So,
Please let us know how the sound is. Let's dive right into it. You were telling me
indeed.
when we had the call this week just how eventful it's been in the news relating to issues of economics and finances. Would you like to give us a rundown and what the implications are? Let's talk roads and toll gates.
All right. So yeah. So indeed, we have an event week. We saw
Yeah.
the government signed. They signed that contract for the road, the
Yeah.
Ndola Kitwe Road.
Yeah.
And I have a very different opinion, Wupe. I've seen
Mhm.
politicians have complained, and some people have complained. They say 25 years is too long. You know what? I don't care one bit how long it takes. All right. People have died on that Kitwe Ndola Road. It's a death trap. It's a terrible road. Even if it takes 100 years for someone to get to office, I don't mind. I'm okay with it. Okay. So just to be clear, I'm happy about the Ndola Kitwe Road Bupe, partly because
Yeah.
people have died. People have died a lot. People have died on that road. So even if it takes 100 years, somebody just collecting trophies, I don't mind. What's more important is people's lives. If the
Mm.
person, the contractor can promise that it's going to be taking over the road, is going to be renovating it, is going to be doing everything he can to keep it in usable condition, I'm okay with it. Honestly, Whoopi, I don't mind. All right. And people are doing kangaroo calculations. Some
Yeah.
are saying it is going to we are going to pay $5 billion in toll fees in 25 years. But hey,
Mm.
those are kangaroo calculations. They are
Okay.
doing wrong focus. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think when something good has been done, let's learn to appreciate. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm more concerned about people's health. All right. Even if it
Mm.
was to take 100 years, I think I'd be okay with it because people have died. And the
Okay.
beauty, the government is not spending any money, all right? They're not spending any money saying that, of course, there's going to be some implications, partly because if the contractor, or not what the government has done, here's what they have done.
Mm-hmm.
The government has played a nice game. They've done this.
Hmm.
This guy gets the target for 23 years, for
Okay.
22 years, because the first 3 years is going to be for construction of the road, and they are going to use
Mhm.
high quality material, if not concrete. All right, very high quality material, and then the 3 years
Okay.
they build the road. The next 23 years is for maintenance and operation. So
Mhm.
the contractor collects toll fees from the road, and then the
Mhm.
government gets taxes from the contractor. Have you
From
seen?
the contractor.
So it's not that
Mm.
the government is losing completely. No, they
Mm.
are playing their game. The guy pays tax. All right, they get some
Mhm.
taxes from the contractor. But again,
Mm.
what happens? The contractor, if he sees that the project is not sustainable, he may do
Mhm.
two things. He
Mhm.
may maintain the normal price, or he may increase the price to transfer the cost to the end users
Mm.
so that he can benefit. So
Okay.
either ways, we are going to pay for the road, the Zambian
No.
people, because we are going to be paying toll fees, all right?
Mhm.
And then those toll fees, the government will be getting some taxes. So either
Mm.
ways, the government wins.
Okay.
But who wins the most? Who wins the most is us, the road users, because for the first time, we can see our money actually building a road that we are going to
Mm.
use. I think
Mm.
that's amazing. I think I love that, Wupe.
I
So if
think that's
somebody
an
says,
interesting perspective.
yeah, 25 years is too long. It's not 25, it's 22 years. All right. And in that 22 years, our government will get taxes. Of course, we may be able to face the expenses if the road is damaged and the contractor won't be able to sustain it, to maintain it properly, is going to increase toll fees, which we
Yeah.
understand. As long as people are safe, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's more detail we would have to get into the discussion to understand fully the terms of the contract, right? You're going to get money from people for 22 years. So when you talk about road and maintenance at the end of the period of 22 years, are we expecting that they would leave these roads in like good condition? They're paying for the maintenance and everything. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes. So what's happening is that the contractor is going to use the to collect toll fees for this period.
Yeah. Hmm.
It is operations and maintenance.
Nice.
Have you
Yeah, I
seen?
like that. Hmm.
So the road will be maintained every single. We will not have those big potholes, those big furrows
Oh,
that we see when you're going to Robert.
yeah.
No, we have a very smooth, strong road.
Hmm.
Now, the Minister of Finance said something. He said the truck drivers, they should not overload their trucks. They should now follow the normal loads to
Mm.
avoid damaging the road unnecessarily. Because those trucks are the
Yeah.
ones who damage the road a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean, like
either
I'm
ways,
saying,
I think Zambian people win. Zambian
yeah.
people win, I think. I'm happy
Yeah.
about the fact that we are winning either ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can
It's
we
about
can
saving
only
lives.
hope. Yeah, and that's the most important thing, right? Sometimes we might have to pay a higher price for it to happen. But I'm also just thinking, so if a truck overloads, whose responsibility is it? Would there be a fine? Like what are the stipulations in the contract that will ensure that, the contractor doesn't say, look, it wasn't me, your truck drivers are still overloading, and that's what's damaging the roads. So
No,
like
the contractor, the
yeah.
contractor who fixes the road regardless of who damages or who doesn't.
Yeah,
That's
again, I
the
mean,
beauty.
yeah, it would be interesting. Yeah, if that's a term of the contract, because ultimately it's the government of Zambia and the contractor who are getting into this
Yeah.
contract. And yeah, the details of that obviously we don't have here. And we might spend a lot of time on the technicality. Let's jump right into our conversation today,
Yeah.
which is the influence of a woman on a man. And I have to say, I really enjoyed your lunchtime podcast, your live session a day or two ago, and I remember saying, you know what, being a wife is not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
But
Being a wife is hard job.
it's a job. So let's do an icebreaker before we get into it, right?
All right.
Would you, if you were not married, right, would you marry for love or for money? If you had a choice to marry for love or to marry for money, which would it be?
You see, it's a very simple answer.
It is. I like that. Tell me.
It's a very simple answer.
Mhm.
Which one is easier to repress? If you lose money, or if you lose a lot of money, you have a million, you have 10 million. You build a 10 million business.
Yep.
$10 million business.
Yeah.
And then you have a boyfriend. Which one is easier to replace if you lost one?
This is a trick question. I think this is one of those where we don't agree. In my head, I'm like, it's easier to replace the money, because if I've built a $10 million business and I lose it, I have the skills to build the business again. So I don't know. In my mind, the money is easier
to build $10 million business again.
I think so, because if I've built, you know how they say the first 100,000 is hard to make, but when you make it
tell
the
me,
first
is Rupe being objective? Is she being honest? Which one is that to replace? People tell me.
No, okay, $10 million
okay. And the boyfriend.
Listen, this question, we don't agree. We've never agreed on this. Listen, Shadrach, you told me that making the first 100 is the hardest. And when I think back on it, it's true. Making the first 100 is hard. But when you've made the first 100, making the next 100 is not that hard. And I think that, and I think that if you repeat that principle and say making your first million is hard, right? Making the next million is not that hard. When you make the first billion, that's hard. But making the next billion is hard. So if I apply that principle, if I've made 10 billion, really, how hard would it, obviously to take some time to rebuild, but when you think about replacing a good, legit, loving human being compared to a business, in my head, I'm thinking that it's easier to replace the money.
Thank you, Derek.
I don't know.
Thank you.
So Derek says $1 million is hard. You put on value, people. So you would marry for money. So your answer is you wouldn't marry for love, but for money.
No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying, I'm asking you, which one is easier to replace?
I've answered in my mind. If I've made 10 million, then I know how to make 10 million, really. But if I have like a good man, like I have a good man, I wouldn't trade him for 10 million, because I know how to make the 10 million.
All right, so guys,
but what's your answer? To marry for love or to marry for money?
Yeah, of course. Marriage. I think that's also a very wrong question. I wouldn't marry for money. I would marry because I love the person. Yeah. I think that's the way. I would marry because I love the person. But also when it comes to which one is easier to replace between a boyfriend and 10 million, the truth is you can replace as many boyfriends as you like. Okay.
But it's not a loving one, not a good guy, not like a good guy.
It's easier to replace a human being, a boyfriend. It's easier to replace a boyfriend. Okay? You have $10 million and the boyfriend. Come on, let him suit himself. Okay.
Yeah.
You can find somebody else. There are so many loving people there.
Okay, that was a good icebreaker. So let's get into it. Like I said, I really had enjoyed that chat that you shared with us about not marrying. You talked about the power of how influential a woman is, and I'd like to take you back to that chat, and I want us to have a conversation around that. First of all, what inspired that conversation?
All right, so people, please share the video. Please help us share the video. Our page is going through some restrictions at the moment. We posted the photo that is against Facebook guidelines, so we have very few people watching us. Please help share the video. Please help share the video.
We need
All right, so what inspired that conversation, Wope, is partly because I've noticed with concern that a lot of men, they don't take well advice if it comes from either a wife, a fiance, or a girlfriend. The reason is because when a girlfriend tells you, or a wife or fiance, that, you know what, can you look for a job, or can you look for a better job if you're already in employment? We think that this lady is a gold digger. All right. We think she loves money. And sometimes we think that, she does not appreciate. Don't you see how I try? All right. But more often than not, if you think about it, you find that the advice being given to you by your woman is meant to help you, maybe she has just noticed, you know what, you deserve better than peanuts. Your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend, maybe they have seen how hard you are trying to make things work, or
Mm,
they have seen how hard you are working, and now they don't want you to keep stressing. So they give
mm,
you some advice. Say, you know what, honey, can you look for a job somewhere?
mm,
Because they see your potential. But as
mm,
men, we feel insecure. So
mm,
what do we do to defend ourselves? The anger comes out first. You know what?
mhm.
I try. Don't you see I've been applying every day? No one calls me.
Yeah.
So you overreact. But the truth is, if you
Mhm.
got a nice job, who's going to enjoy? It's
You.
you. You can even dump that woman and bring someone else.
Seeing
I'm
as you
just saying.
believe that she's easy to replace.
No, I'm just saying. When a
Yeah.
woman tells you to look for a job somewhere else, it's because she wants what's best for you.
Mm,
So we have to move as men from labeling a woman who pushes you to look for a better source of income, from
mhm,
being unappreciative to being somebody who
mhm.
cares for you genuinely.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, we don't really know our worth up until someone else tells us. There are times where your woman can see clearly that you are being
Mm,
underutilized. She can see clearly that you're not being used very well, you're not being paid well,
mhm.
but you don't see it yourself. So she
Yeah.
gives some advice. Can you try this? Can you try that? So if you're not careful, you may think that
Mhm,
maybe she wants a man who has more money than you. You may think maybe she wants a man who is happening more than you. You may even begin to doubt her love for you. So when
mm,
I saw how people have misunderstood women when it comes to financial advice, I felt the need to simply table the issue and just give my view of it, because women have got God given influence over us. And this is not a lie, Wupe. If you go to First Peter 3:1, the
mm,
Bible says that a woman is able to change a man who is not God fearing into a God fearing man without using a word, but just through her conduct. So the
mm,
way a woman behaves has power to effect change in a man's character.
mm,
Yes. So that power that most women don't know the power that they have. They
mm,
underestimate the impact of their influence. All right.
mhm.
Do you know, if
Yeah.
I'm wearing this shirt and then my wife tells me that, not, I love this shirt. You look so beautiful in this shirt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear it no matter what you say, Bubi. I don't care.
Yeah.
My
I
girl
know.
says it looks nice on me. That's what
Yeah.
matters to me. All right.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
the person in your life, your woman in your life, if she uses her power very well, she can trigger positive change in you.
mm.
A lot of people that have done well, most of them are those that listen to the advice from their wife,
True.
from
That's true.
their fiance or their girlfriend. Because if
Yeah.
we,
I
we,
think
we
that is
stop
the case.
labeling
Yeah.
women, yeah, as gold diggers, when they talk about money and they push us to look for more money, it can help us
Mm,
to become better. All right.
mm,
Because when you make more money, who's going to enjoy it is you.
mm,
So your woman is just pushing. That's why she's a helper. Who is a helper?
mm,
Somebody who gives you a hand where you can't.
mm,
So as men, we have to begin to reach a point, Wupe, where we recognize the value, the role that women play in our lives.
mm,
The moment you begin to see your woman as an equal partner, you can succeed. Because on your own, you can't kiss yourself. You can't impregnate yourself. You can't marry yourself.
mm,
All right. So you need somebody else. So if you don't regard the other person's position in your life, leave them
mm.
alone.
True.
Don't waste their time. Because if you can't work together with somebody, why are you with them? If they can't offer advice to you, they can't become a helper they are supposed to be in your life,
Mm.
why are you with them? Have you seen?
Yep.
So for a woman to give you advice, you must be able to give her a platform to do so.
Mm,
Because women would know exactly what you can do to help yourself, but they will not say it,
mm.
especially if you are short tempered. They would
Yeah.
keep it to themselves because they don't want to offend you. But
I
once you
like
create
that.
an environment where you can allow your
Mm,
wife or your fiance or your girlfriend to give you advice without taking offense,
mm,
more often than not, you begin to see she becomes more free in talking to you. She becomes more open. She even begin to share some things we never knew existed.
Yeah. So
And
I
if you're
like what you said.
observant, yes,
Yeah. Yeah, sorry to cut you. So I like what you said before I lose the thought and before we move away from the inspiration of how you started this. You talked about men sometimes struggle with an insecurity and perceive that what their woman is telling them is to
yeah,
belittle them in a sense. So if you are
yeah.
speaking to a man and in their mind that's what they have, how can they know that what they're dealing with is an insecurity and not a genuine concern? So you said it manifests
When
one as anger, right? So I like that you
number
delved
one,
that way. Yeah, it manifests
that's
as
the
anger.
most, the first sign in men. How you know that you are insecure when you are short tempered. When a man is short tempered, it means two things.
Okay.
When a man is broke, it becomes two things. Okay.
Okay.
When a man is broke, it becomes two things, and two things only. Number one, it becomes temperamental.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, it becomes insecure.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, Wupe. When a man, nothing makes a man more insecure than being broke.
Mm.
Right? So when your woman says something, you think sometimes you can say, just because I'm not working, just because I'm
Yeah.
not. When I was working, that's insecurity.
Yeah.
Forget when
So
I was working.
language.
Forget just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not working. All right.
Mm.
Can you begin to listen?
Mm.
When your wife tells you, "Msakilani koni nchito," it's not that she's telling you this because now you're not working. No. Yes, you're not working. That's the fact. You don't have a job. All right. But if you
Yeah.
got a job, who's going to benefit? Who's going to be getting paid? It's you.
Mm.
Who's going to be having reduced stress? It's you. So when a
Mm.
man becomes temperamental, when a man becomes temperamental, all right, it's a sign that he's also very much insecure.
Mm.
Usually, people that are insecure have short temper. A temper is not
Mm.
that they don't even realize it. It's like a defense mechanism.
Mm.
You can't even express yourself because you are scared they're going to overreact. That's how
Mm.
you know a man is insecure. No one is
Mm.
more insecure than a short tempered man. No
Mm.
one is more insecure. So when you are short tempered, you are vulnerable, you are more insecure. So you begin to think somebody's cheating on you
Mm.
because you are insecure. You become more strict with little
Yeah.
things, checking for stuff. That's how you know you're becoming more insecure because now a simple act, your wife receives a phone call, your fiance, girlfriend, you want to know who they were talking to. That's how you
Mm.
begin to you're becoming insecure. All
Mm.
right.
I like
Not
that.
that it's a bad thing, but sometimes if you are, especially if you are broke, you
Mm.
begin to be more attentive to small things.
Mm.
Unnecessary arguments, you become moody. All right. Even where your wife is just happy to, maybe if sometimes you find that your wife tells you something nice about her friend's husband, just maybe she forgot, just mention something, just out of passive statement. You say, so she's telling me this because the friend's husband bought a vehicle for the wife.
So the
You
way.
feel challenged. So your wife
Mm.
can't talk about what the friend's husband has done for the wife because they're going to feel challenged. You feel like she's comparing you to this man. You
Okay,
understand?
so I hear you 100%. So how does a man move? Let's say a man, for instance, is in a situation that you have described. They're listening to this and they're like, that's me. I'm short-tempered, I am temperamental, and I don't have the
Mhm,
job, and my wife is talking to me like this.
mhm.
How does one move from the place of insecurity? This is on the man's side. How do they move from that place of being temperamental into being more confident and a bit more trusting of their woman's intention?
Okay, so a man can move from that temperamental point, number one, by recognizing the fact that at the moment things are bad. Stop looking at everything
Acceptance,
your
huh?
wife says
Yeah, I
as it.
like that.
Accept your situation. That's the first thing.
Mm, mm,
Once you accept the situation, it means now you're going to see ways of how you can come out of it. So the one way you can stop being temperamental, short-tempered people, they have one very funny thing. Huh? When you tell them that you are being short-tempered, they say, "I'm not short-tempered," and then they even scare you even more because they don't realize it.
Yeah.
It becomes a reflex.
Mm,
And nothing makes a man more temperamental than poverty and being broke. Some men who are temperamental are not even temperamental in actuality. They are just people who are broke. They're just frustrated. They're just stressed, if not depressed.
I mean,
So they
frustration
become
does that to a
temperamental.
lot of us. Yeah.
They become moody. Yes. So for the lady dating such a man, or for a wife married to such a man, I think it's best to create an environment also of how you can talk to such a man, because sometimes as a lady also, it's how you bring your points. All right, that also
So
is going
before
to
we go
carry
there,
a lot
I
of
I
weight.
was coming to that. So before we go there, I wanted to ask
Mhm,
though. I
mhm,
mean, a financial situation can change at any stage in a
mhm,
relationship. Pre the marriage, there may be a job, there may be, money, or before the marriage, there may be no job, there may be no money. You get married, and I've noticed a lot. I noticed in some circles where the moment a man gets married, things start to change for him. I don't know if you've observed that, but perhaps I don't know.
yeah.
It has something to do with what you're explaining. But how does a single man identify a woman he can trust to influence him positively? Then we can move to
It's
the,
very
yeah.
simple, Bope.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, men will respect women who have standards. Not taula kola na fula. You don't want that. There's
So
something
what does
about
that have to
men
do with
that
money?
let me tell you something. There's something about men that I think women should understand.
Mm,
You know, if as a woman you should have a fence, all right? Like a fence.
mm,
Your fence should not be this high, because a man can simply jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. You understand? So
mm-hmm,
what we mean by that, have some standards, something you don't compromise.
mm,
For example, you find that you have a husband who is a giver, all right,
mm,
who's a spender, or a
mm.
fiance who's a spender, and then you are a saver.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, your fiance may think that you are stingy because you are a
Mm,
saver.
yeah.
But again, if you're not careful, again, you may think your fiance or your husband is careless because he's a giver.
Mm-hmm,
So both of you are not bad. You've not just
mm-hmm.
understood each other's money personality. You understand?
I hear you.
So your wife is a saver. You, the husband, you are a giver. So you are a spender. Your
Mm-hmm,
wife is a saver. She wants to preserve the resources to use for tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
She thinks about tomorrow more than she thinks about today. So you think my wife is difficult. She's tough. She's stingy. She thinks my husband is careless. He just gives out money unnecessarily.
yeah.
Both of you are not bad. You just have to direct your passions for something that's going to benefit the both of you. If you are
Mm-hmm,
saving, who are you saving for? If you are
mm-hmm,
spending, who are you spending on? Have you
mm-hmm,
seen? What are you spending for? So that you can
mm,
marry your two money personality so that you don't have problems. There's nothing wrong with spending money. Actually, if you don't spend money, it's difficult to make money. The moment you
mm,
begin to learn how to spend money, then you can multiply your money. So this
mm,
guy who spends money is not bad, it's okay. All you have to do is tune the spending habit to spending on beneficial things that
things.
are going to bring more money in the relationship. So also when you are saving the money, you're not saving to go and buy Brazilian hair. You're saving to come and do something better for the for the farm. So that both of you
Mm,
can marry your money personalities to avoid misunderstanding each other. So a
mm-hmm,
man trusts a woman who shows that she has some standards,
I
some
love it.
non-negotiables in her
Mm-hmm,
life.
mm,
As a woman, what are your non-negotiables? Things that you can't
compromise
just
on.
jump. There are
Mm,
things you can compromise on, all right? And there are things you can't compromise on. So each one, I have things that are non-negotiables, and I have things that I can compromise,
let's get into
right?
that.
For example,
What are the
a,
non-negotiables examples, and what
a
are
lady that
negotiable?
smokes, smoking, it's
What does that
non-negotiable
have
for
to
me.
do with money?
I'm just saying that smoking
Okay, that's a
becomes
personal preference. Yeah.
yeah, it's a personal preference. I'm just saying because according to my standard, I don't think I would be happy being with somebody who smokes. I don't
Hmm.
smoke. I
Yeah.
mean, I can compromise on other behaviors, but not
Mm.
smoking. As an
Okay.
example. So, as a
Yeah.
lady, also, do you have some non-negotiables? Things that you say, okay, fine, no matter what happens, this is non-negotiable for me.
Hmm.
Sometimes it could be standards of behavior. Maybe you don't tolerate your husband coming home at midnight. It's non-negotiable. Regardless of who he was with, midnight is out of topic. That's a standard. People have different standards, all right? So you can have a standard say, fine, for me, midnight, honey, is a non-negotiable. No matter what happens, you can't come home after midnight. It's a non-negotiable.
I love that,
Have you
Shavik.
seen?
And you see, yeah. You see, what I find is that a lot of people start to set their negotiables and non-negotiables a little too late into the marriage, right? So before people get married, like you're explaining, right? Perhaps like with your smoking preference, perhaps when when you go out, your girl is smoking, and you say, you know what, like, I don't like it when you smoke, but you don't communicate that as a non-negotiable, right? And then when you get married, you start to breathe fire on the person and say, but I told you I don't like to smoke. But you're like, it was never communicated as a boundary that was not negotiable. And then conflict begins. Similar with the example of coming home at midnight, right? When you're dating and someone is going home at midnight to their home, and you are not saying anything about it, and then you get married, and then you're like, why are you coming home at midnight? Like, I always come home at midnight and I hang out with the boys. So I like how you talk about having a standard. And I think, just to add on, it's important to communicate that standard before you say I do, before you commit your life, so that someone fully understands what your expectations are as you are moving forward. So what are some of the qualities? What are some of the qualities a woman can possess that shows you, or if you were thinking more generally, like smoking, I think is a more personal preference. If a man smokes and they like to smoke together, that's a bit different, right? But like, what are the qualities, for instance, that a man can identify in a woman? This is pre-marriage. That you can say, look, when you see some of these qualities, it's a green flag, right? For instance, I don't know, she has a savings account. Like, can
So
you, like, what are some of the things you would advise?
That, I think men, it's in the Bible. I think men, we love to feel respected, even when we know we are stupid. I think it's not that we want to amplify our stupidity in any way, but it's because it's inborn. It's how God has made man. Because a man has got this natural inclination, right? This natural inclination to want to feel respected. All right. It doesn't matter what I've done, but I want, even when I'm wrong, I don't want to feel disrespected. Now, there's a difference. I know I'm wrong. All right. And if you talk to me nicely, I'm going to apologize. But if you tell me I'm stupid when I'm wrong, you're going to be more wrong. I'm just saying, this is how the mind of a man has been made. We have the natural inclination to want to feel respected by our women. Not even a foolish husband would tolerate being disrespected by his wife, because no man loves that. So that's the first thing men pick in women. A woman who shows that she has a good measure of respect, even when you are an idiot at the moment, you've done something very stupid, but she gives you the respect as a man in a relationship to talk to you in a respectful manner. That increases a lot of points. But because, you know what, I'm gonna go home thinking, what, I think I messed up. I need to apologize. And also, maturity is seen in the way your woman talks to you when you are wrong. A lot. If she begins to shout, she stops answering, picking up your phone calls. That's childish. So sometimes it's best if she tells you we need to talk. When a woman says we need to talk, no matter how foolish you are, you're going to talk. Do you know why? Because now you know there's something important that you're going to talk about. You become sober. So women who like saying, when there's a problem, they say, we need to talk nicely. So you sit down. If a woman can sit you down and then you talk, you respect that woman. All right? She's showing you the way of life, how she wants to. So it's like she's training you. I'm not saying that you don't know how to sit. No. If she has a grievance and then she tells you, we need to talk, she's not blocked you. She's not avoiding your cause, but she tells you we need to talk. All right. That's the different arrangement, because now you know we need to talk. Just that statement, we need to talk, makes you sober. All right. It shows, it carries weight. All right. And then you sit down and then you begin to talk. Not shouting, exchanging words on phone. No, talk in person. She's looking at you. You respect a woman who talks to you in person and looks at you in the eyes and tells you how they feel. Even if you are a stupid man, but on your own in private, you always appreciate that woman's maturity. Yeah.
I like that. So that's respect. Respect is one. What is another way that a man can identify a woman he can trust?
All right. So, but also, you can identify somebody. People have got different behaviors. Like I said, trust is relative. All right. There are people that lie their way to death. They lie their way in marriage and they die lying. It's not your fault if somebody lies to you, right? Because maybe their dad or their mom brought them up that way. You are not there. You just met them. Don't feel guilty if somebody's always lying to you. It's not your fault. You are not there where they grew up. Okay?
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed that I think also is a good thing, that also motivates you to some extent, is to have a woman who is honest. When I say honest, I mean, there are some people, when women, when they want to marry you, they like you, they praise you needlessly. You understand? A woman who is honest is one who is able to point out a wrong, all right, without being biased, because they want to become better. They're able to express themselves in a way that shows understanding. To tell you if they are offended, they should be able to tell you politely. Or sometimes, when people are upset, you can't always expect them to say things politely. Imagine your house is on fire and then somebody comes and says, "Hey, you fool, your house is on fire and you are here." Can you say, "Don't talk to me like that"? No, you can't do that. Do you know why? Because what's important is the house. It's on fire.
Yeah. We'll deal with that later.
Somebody's come out. Yes. So sometimes you have to pass how somebody's coming out and focus on the point if you want to become better.
Yeah.
Hey, you fool, you are here and your house is on fire. You can't say, "Don't talk to me like that." No. At that point, focus on the fire. Go and do what? Remove the fire. All right? Eliminate the fire. That's the most important thing. So when people are upset, sometimes you should have room on your mind that sometimes they may say things they don't really mean. All right? Because they are offended. There should be that allowance for you as a man on your mind. Because sometimes your wife will simply say, "You are stupid." Sometimes, out of anger, sometimes. I've heard that before from some people. Okay? Not that she really thinks you are stupid. And sometimes she may say something that will just shock you. Something she never told you before. And then you say, "Oh, can you say this?" Sometimes because maybe some people don't react very well to stress. Especially if you have no food at home, you are struggling as a man, you have not paid rentals, tempers are high. Wives may say things that may make you feel like they're not respectful. Sometimes. Right? So don't dwell on that so much. Okay. So I think honesty is key. Somebody's honesty is very important because they help you to grow. If your woman is always praising you even when you are wrong, that's a red flag.
Red flag.
Because you will not grow.
True.
She should be able to tell you when you mistreat somebody. "No, I didn't like how you treated you. How do you talk to your friend? I didn't like how you talked to ABCD. I didn't like how you did ABCD," because you can't talk to other people like that. You can't treat me like a queen and treat other people like trash. They are all human beings. You want somebody who's honest enough to tell you that, "No, don't treat people like this. All right? Talk to them nicely. It's okay." So, if women have so much power in their mbupe that if they use it to their advantage, it can yield a lot of positive results. But most of them, it's either they are pretending to be understanding or they are just, being idiots.
So let's move to the woman.
To be naive.
Yeah, let's move to the woman. A lot have been said about the man and the environment that can be created. I wanted us to jump a
Yeah.
little. You had said earlier, and I wrote this down because I wanted us to zone in on this very much. You said
Yeah.
women don't understand their power. And I
Yeah.
guess we can look back on the first Peter verse that you talked about, which speaks to the
Yeah.
power of influence, right? And I think it can even
Yeah.
apply both ways. But specifically in that verse, it speaks about if your husband is not, I paraphrase, if your husband is not a Christian, you should live your way in that your life is sort of a testimony of your Christianity, and he may actually be won over through your own conduct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. But also, when I think about influence, I think about like Adam and Eve in the Garden of
Yeah.
Eden. I think that Adam was very passive, and he didn't take on his leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're looking at Eve influencing Adam to taking the fruit, right, in the
Mm-hmm.
garden. So that sort of speaks to the power of influence in a woman's life. Sarah and her
Yeah.
husband, she told him, "You tell them that I'm your sister so that I'm spared," or something. But there's a lot of instances where you can
Yeah.
see Delilah and Samson, right? Like,
Yeah.
tell me, where does your power come from? So I wanted us to get into the conversation a little bit about what is this power? Like, how can a woman, first of all, what is this power? And then next, how can a woman cultivate this power for the benefit of her family?
I'll be very categorical, Bupe. You know, a woman who is
Please.
short-tempered,
Mm.
a short-tempered woman can never use her power of influence to the fullest.
Yeah.
That's number one.
So
Do you know
both
why?
parties
Because
need to put down those tempers. Yeah.
a short temper is so ugly
Mm.
that even people who are short-tempered don't like it when they see someone else being short-tempered.
Mm. Because it's like a mirror. You're looking at yourself.
Yeah. Short-tempered people don't like it when they see someone else being short-tempered.
Okay.
They don't like it. That's how
Mm.
ugly a temper is. And I think
Mm.
that's why God said that short-tempered people will find it hard to enter into God's kingdom because it's so
It does?
disgusting to be
Okay.
short-tempered. Galatians
Yeah.
5. Go to Galatians
Yeah.
5. It's there in the Bible.
Okay.
Short-tempered people. You may even lose an opportunity to be in God's kingdom if you are so
Mm.
short-tempered.
Mm.
So short-tempered, a short temper does not come from God. It's not godly. So the Bible says it's not godly. It's not a godly behavior.
Mm.
And most of us have been victims and culprits of being short-tempered. Up until
Yeah.
somebody told us that, Shadiki, you're short-tempered. I said, no, I'm not short-tempered. But after some time, you sit yourself down and say, I think I'm short-tempered.
Yeah.
Five
Yeah.
people have told me that I'm short-tempered. So
Mm.
the first thing to a woman in owning her power is to recognize the fact that when you are short tempered, you lose. Do you know why? When you are
Mm.
short tempered, you are vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
to manipulation. Short
I love
tempered people
that.
can be controlled easily. All you have to say is something simple, something a bit annoying, and then they'll be
Mm.
off the grid.
Mm.
It is very easier to distract a short tempered person. I play chess, Bupe, and
Yeah.
chess players talk. But one thing I've
Mm.
noticed, a short tempered chess player loses more often than not, even when they were supposed to win. Because a short temper distracts you from what's important. All right. So a woman who wants to own her power, number one, she should first work on her temper.
Mm.
If for example, the best way sometimes to control a situation, to be in charge of a situation, is to make the other person feel they are the ones who are in charge. For example, if a woman wants to bring an idea, she wants her idea to work, and then she shows me she wants us to do things her way, it will not work.
Mm.
Do you know why? Because I also want things to be done my way. I also want her to
Mm.
know I'm the head of the family, or I'm the fiance, I'm the man. So
Yeah.
in the end, you begin to compete without even realizing you're competing.
Mm. Very
But
true.
what if she does this? I suggest, and says, "What? That's a good idea. Wow, that's nice. I didn't think of it that way. Wow. And don't you think it can even be better if we did this?" she suggests something else. First, she thanks me for my stupid idea, all right? And then she tells me that, you know what, that's good. Wow, that's nice. How do you think if we even added this one here?
Mm.
I say, well, that can make sense. All right. Know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking she likes my idea, but she just told me, you know what? That's a stupid idea, Shadwick. We aren't going to do that. Let's do it my way. But she's not done that. She just told me, wow, that's great. I didn't think of it that way. But what if we also did this? She makes a suggestion. A suggestion is more likely to be accepted by your man because then it feels like you're controlling him. It feels like you're asking. You understand? So you have to learn the art of communication. The power
Yeah,
of a woman is in how she communicates. A woman who knows how to communicate can get what? How do you think prostitutes are able to get ATM card numbers from men? You think they just say, hey,
communication.
give me your ATM card number? Then they must, okay, fine. It's 224. No. They have mastered the art of communication. They communicate so well that most men have even ended up giving away their ATM pin numbers and then they lose the money. So the power of, I'm just an example I'm giving. I'm not saying it's a good thing to be a prostitute. I'm just saying, how do they manage to even make a man who has everything, a beautiful wife at home, everything, just trying a prostitute once he shifts to a new place? There's nothing new that he has experienced. There's nothing new. Sometimes it's just the way he's being talked to.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
There's so much power in language. Even if you are offended as a woman, if you can master your communication, you get a lot of things done without having to stress so much. A lot of ladies fail to effect positive change because they can't communicate.
Yeah.
It's like a business, Wupe. If you don't advertise, you have no business. You have to advertise.
People don't know what
Somebody's got
you're
to hear
doing.
you.
Yeah.
So if you shut your mouth, you are dead. You don't exist.
Yeah.
Communicate, but master the art of communication. That's your power as a woman. Find a way. You know, sometimes it may not be so nice. It may not be easy to communicate to a Morogont. Some men are hard-hearted beings. They are Morogons. They are stubborn. They are difficult to help. Their mothers have failed to help them. Their fathers have failed to help them. And you are just a wife. He just married you and is the head of the family. It's difficult to help such a man. All right? Because they're just difficult men and they know it. Difficult for nothing. Everybody knows they're difficult. All right? It's difficult. Even if you advise them to get a job, they'll even slap you. There are such people, Wupe.
I know.
What I'm saying that, you know, as a lady, when you master your art of communication, it serves you well. It may require a lot of mental fortitude and the strength, inner strength,
Tell me about
to control your emotions. If you can master your emotions, you can control somebody without them realizing you're even controlling them. The best way to control somebody is to make them feel that they're in charge. This is psychology.
Yep.
Once somebody feels they're in charge,
Emotional intelligence.
it is easier to control the outcomes. But once you show them you're in charge, it will not work. So it will take a lot of mental strength, patience, and endurance, because it's painful to be patient with somebody who is difficult or who is just critical. Somebody who is just parfait. You know, it's very difficult. You're trying to be patient, you're trying to be understanding, but this guy just pushing you to your limits every single time. It may take time, but if you don't give up, it will eventually work. It works. It works every. No, I know this. I do family finance. I talk to couples every single day, and I've created a course, all right, to help couples. So I know. I've seen elderly people in front of me just break down. A man just break down and cries. Says, "I wish I knew this area." So one of the things we talk about. So a woman has so much power in her way of communication.
You say that.
Emotion. We know you people are emotional. If you can master your emotions,
man,
you're 70 steps ahead.
Yeah, true. And I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. One of the things I think women do to give away that power, right, is choosing a man they are not willing to come under or trust his leading. And I think it's one of the most common mistakes that I see a lot of women who are single make, right? Because now you're
Yeah,
25, 23, you're like, oh, it's time to get married. So anytime someone comes along, they're a potential partner, right? And even
yeah,
before you take the time to get to know them, you've already decided this is my husband, father of my kids, and whatever, without actually thinking about, can I actually come under the leadership of this person, right? If they were
very good.
making decisions, right,
Very good.
am I willing to follow? And that's how women give away a lot of that power. But when
Very
you
good.
get into a relationship with someone whose leadership you someone who you already admire, and you're like, this one, even if we go in a drainage, we sleep, together in there and it will be fine. So I feel like that's how a lot of women give away their power. They get into relationship with someone who is way less mature than them, someone whose direction is not very clear, and then now they start to feel frustrated. But like you're saying, it's not a dead end, especially if, for instance, you manage the power of your emotions. And another way women
Hmm.
give away their power is they don't read books that can help them. Right now, you
Yeah.
gave a good nugget that said that, um, you gave a nugget that said, can you hear me? Sorry, I got a call. So you gave a
Okay.
nugget that said that the best way for someone to, what was that you said? The best way for someone to make it, to control someone, is to make them feel like they're in control, right?
Yeah.
But and now a woman is sitting at home and thinking, now how do I do that? Simple. Dale Carnegie's How to Win and Influence People. It's a whole book on what you just said.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
multiple books on emotional intelligence, but women are not out there reading to understand. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
ways that we give away that power, but I really like how you explain the power of communication and the mastering of our emotions. A lot of the times,
Yeah.
I was talking with Dr. Kadochi the time I was on holiday, and I don't know, we ended up talking about relationships, and I was explaining to him that one of the things I try to do, and I'm not a master at it, and it's something I'm still
Hmm.
learning, is try to uncomplicate myself for my husband, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm an emotional being, you are logical, right? So how
Hmm.
can I think more like you so that when I talk to you, you understand me? But it's like what you are saying. If you don't master your emotions, for instance, by reading, listening to podcasts and whatever, you won't know. So I just really like how you talked about mastering your emotions, using the power of communication, setting standards. I think that those are such powerful things. And we're past 21 now. Do you have anything that you think is essential to this conversation that you would like to close with tonight?
Direction. You know, direction is key. So a woman, should also learn to set direction.
Mm,
Yeah. Kupango mu follow.
mm,
For example, let's say your husband comes at 23 hours.
mm,
He was watching football with his friends,
mm.
and then he's knocking the door. I mean, you're not opening. Huh? You're
Yeah.
hearing him outside. You say let him stay out a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a good
He's
idea.
knocking, not opening. You
That's
may
a
have
terrible
you may have
idea.
a right to feel bad. All right.
Yeah.
And then maybe sometimes you might not really even do that. Maybe sometimes he's knocking. He knocks. He knocks. He
Mm,
knocks. He knocks. What happens? You open the door. He comes in. You're upset.
mm,
Now we so now fulwa. You know what? And maybe you say, "Oh, where are you coming from?" You know what it's going to say?
yeah.
"Tawa kwa tomchinshi." How do you talk to
Mm,
me like? Even seeing disrespect. It's not seeing that it's late. It's
mm.
seeing disrespect. So show him that it's wrong.
Sorry, Shadrach. Can I share with you something Moses and I laughed at really hard last night? We couldn't believe it. It was
Mhm.
something on Facebook. I forget now which page posted this. They say like a
Mhm.
wife is telling the husband like "Valusambo weren kunganda," Na wila nomba. Then the husband answers that nomba nga nawela bushe bwala cha bwangu. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like seriously, right now, I thought that was hilarious.
So like I say, it's important to sit down. A woman
Yeah,
who knows how to sit a man down can make a lot of things
yeah,
done.
yeah,
Learn how to sit your man down. That's
yeah,
very important.
yeah.
If he comes out at midnight, perhaps you don't want to start talking about why are you coming late at midnight. Welcome him nicely, okay? Welcome him. Let him save him the food. Sleep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning or when you have a good setting, then sit down. Always master the art
Timing.
of sitting your man down. Timing in life is
Mm,
everything. A
mm,
woman who has timing, who knows how to sit a man down, she gets a lot of things done. Let him see let him see that you need him in your life. That is why I don't want him to be coming at midnight because he may be killed. You understand? But if you just say,
mm.
"Why are you coming from?" Yeah, blah 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 blah. He's going to say, "Well, you think I was doing prostitution? No, I was just watching football." Fight. But if you
Yeah.
can show that is important to you, you don't want anything bad to happen to him. Make it
Mm,
about him being safe, not about your feelings. You
mm.
understand?
Yeah.
Make it about him being safe, not about your
Mm,
feelings.
mm.
Let him see that if he dies, you stand to lose a lot of things. Let him see that you
Yeah.
need him alive and well. So
Mm,
show him that something is wrong. Don't make him
mm,
feel it. Show him
mm. Because it's
logically.
logical. Yeah.
Show him logically. You know what? I need you. People here barashtataki abantu b'endobo kuti bamushtata paya dishani ichaona chivipa. Have a nice conversation around it.
Mm.
It takes a lot of patience to build a how do you eat an elephant,
Yeah.
Pupe? One
One
bite at a
piece
time.
at a time. Yeah.
It may take time, but you get there.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
that's what I can conclude with. Direction is
I
key.
love that. Yeah. And I'd
Master
like to,
the art of
yeah.
communication. Sit your man
Mm,
down.
mm,
Every normal man, when he say we need to talk, it sobers him up.
mm. Yeah. A lot of men
And
fear
we
that
need
though.
to talk. No, find the of saying we need to talk. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't be
Yeah. So this
morbid.
has been amazing. I'll leave with one. My last thought is a quote that I read from the book. Have you read the book? It was a game changer for me in relationships. My mom gave it to me. It's called Love and Respect by
No, I've
Dr.
read it.
Egrich. Oh, it's a good book. I'll try and download a copy and send it to you. It's Love and Respect, Dr. Egrich.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's one quote in there. I have a hard copy. The next time we meet, I should perhaps just
Please
give it
do.
to you to read. Yeah, it's a really good book. I think it breaks things down. But he said he's a pastor, and the wife, like you are saying, had talked to him in a raised voice, right? He was wrong for
Mhm.
sure, right? And this was the quote he said: "You can be right, but wrong at the top of your voice." And I love that
Yeah,
quote. And it speaks to exactly what you have just said. You can
yeah,
be right, but wrong at the top of
yeah,
your voice. So
yeah.
timing, tact,
Timing is everything.
wisdom, letting go of insecurity, building confidence in every season, accepting that that is your season, being respectful. It's just been such a rich conversation. And whenever people catch this, I hope this has been helpful. And yeah, until next week, it has been episode 3 of season 2. Or is this episode
Yeah.
4? I forget now.
Episode
Yeah, and
3.
it's been good. Thanks for making time, friend. I'll see you next week.
All right, my friend. Have a good night. Guys, thank
You
you so much
too.
for joining
Regards
us.
to the
Have a good night.
family.
Indeed. Bye
Bye.
bye.